I previously mentioned that Joe Louis and I were once talking, and he stated that, if you evaluate all of your best top fighters, world champions, is specifically what he said, they have one thing in common, and that's incredible basics. So that's what we're trying to develop and allow you through these training drills, for you to at least get, if you're 80 or 90%, you're better than anybody who's going to attack you in the streets. So our basic movement patterns, we had talked about, our push slide. For our street defense, unlike a ring, we're going to be having the pressure from the ball of this foot into the ball of this foot, so that I can shift my weight by pushing off the ball of my feet anytime I want. Also, if I get bum rushed or swung at from here, and I got a little more weight on my lead leg, I've got stuff out in front of my face, and if I need to block, that's no problem. But I can also shift up to a foot and a half, 2 feet, and absorb a lot of that initial impact. And if this is the case, if I'm a ground fighter, I might just do a little 180 with you and land on top of you. But this gives you an opportunity to shift your weight. We want it shifted slightly forward, and your hands are going to be up in the A-frame, right? Elbows directly behind your fist when they're going out and back, and when they're throwing hooks. And when you're throwing elbows, it's the same thing. It's just in tighter, a little closer, right? So when I'm throwing uppercuts, I want my elbow directly behind my fist. Now, there's some shortcut uppercuts that we train differently. We're not even going to talk about that because it's not something we're going to use in the street, right? But hand position may be important. We can use palm heel strikes. They're very effective and very quick. The thing with that, you don't always want to go straight ahead, but because you're hitting a guy in the V of the jaw here, you want to come underneath a little bit and push up. If you want to add a little, just reach like a claw and grab at his eyeballs at the same time. Bang. Don't get excited over here. Pull back. If you hit someone and they start to fall over, then they continue to push. Take them straight down. But generally, everything has high impact with fast recoil. Bang, bang. Get your elbows back to your side in your standard position with our standard 5 punches. Additionally, it doesn't matter to a point if you're left-handed or right-handed. Nothing's going to change in here. So if I'm walking down the street and someone approaches me, I need to prepare my mind and my body. I'm not going to start doing jumping jacks, right? But when you psych yourself into this, you need to relax and let the adrenaline flow. That's counterintuitive to what most people say. As a child, my mom used to talk to me and my siblings about most people, they save up their adrenaline until you need it, so it's all there. And the other school of thought my mother said is exercise your adrenaline all the time, and it'll be there on call. That's what I used to do. I can virtually psych myself into an adrenaline hit and stay very calm. And truth is, the faster things go, the slower they get, because in addition to that feature of mine, I have 1,001 things that I can put in my head. I'm going to start looking at him and evaluating what is he bringing to the table and how can I answer each and everything. I don't want that flow of mindset to be what you're doing, because it's like probing his defense. I'm really not thinking about what he has to offer. I'm thinking about what I got to offer. The second you start thinking about the other guy or guys, I think in my mind you've already lost. Because if you're a true fighter in your heart and in your spirit and in your mechanical abilities and your psychological makeup, it doesn't matter what they bring to the table. You're bringing you to the table. That's all that really matters. That's the guy you got to look in the mirror, the guy you got to sleep with. So you leave the house, you're all prepped up, you're walking down the street and somebody comes down, immediately I'll stiffen up the back of my neck. Sometimes I'll bring my deltoids up a little, just roll and tuck my chin in case there's more than one or they take a cheap shot. Your neck is literally your shock absorber. So if you get popped on the chin, you also want to, if you think it's going to come your way and you're not expecting it, bite down. Because if you got a loose jaw, you got these little nerves back here. And if you get clipped like that, if he's not expecting me and I'm walking by this way and I just go pop and hit that jaw like this, he's going to be laying on the sidewalk. Doesn't matter how tough he is. You got these two little nerves. If you pop them, it's kind of a flash knockout. He's not truly knocked out, but it'll drop you so quickly. So sometimes these little hammer fists, when I'm practicing, I practice not only with the edged weapons, like going in and out like this really fast and protecting with my elbows and throwing a few pendulum blocks in, but I'm also doing kind of like a speed bag workout where I can roll my hands really fast, because these motions pop. Sometimes they can end the fight just like that. I mean, honest to God, I can just shove and pop, and we can move on to the next threat, right? The quicker you can take care of business, the better off you are. And the more you got your opponent in the survival mode and struggling and playing catch up, the better off you are.
Hey, it's Jimbo here with your next tip. This one's about home invasion. It used to be that burglars would wait until you were gone before breaking into your home. Not anymore. Home invasions are becoming more common because, frankly, the bad guys actually want you to be home, to get your debit card and PIN number, or to find out exactly where you've hidden your cash, or to get the combination to your safe. Thing is, this is a life and death situation for you and your family. You and your family may not survive it even if you give these goons exactly what they want. In that kind of a scenario, using lethal force to protect yourself and your loved ones is justified. Problem is, what if you're taken by surprise? You may not be able to get to a weapon in time, which is why it's important for you to know how to use your bare hands as lethal weapons. And that's exactly what I've got for you, a series of lethal techniques that can end a deadly threat in seconds using nothing but your bare hands. I've got some U.S. Special Forces to show you their secrets, their extremely ruthless and grisly moves. Pretty shocking stuff, really. I would show them to you right now, but I can't. They're considered to be too violent and deadly for this platform. I've already been warned a couple of times, so showing this on my channel would get me shut down for sure. But you can get them for free just by clicking on the link in the description. Okay, let's move on to our next tip.
Common knife defenses involve grabbing the hand and then either doing a disarm or retaliating, and it often looks like this. Ooh. Ooh. But there's problems with that. The biggest problem is that when you go to grab, you're actually casting a really narrow net. If you look at my hands, this is what, like 3-4 inches maybe at the most. The other problem with that is that when you are thinking of reaching out and grabbing, it's like Miyagi catching a mosquito out of the air with chopsticks. You have to be hyper accurate. The third problem with that is that when you're grabbing, you're thinking about a grab, you're also constricting your forearm muscles and tensing your body up, which is actually the opposite of what you want to be. You want to be fluid, relaxed, so that you can be powerful at the right moment with the right tactics and techniques. So against an actual knife attack, there's going to be speed, surprise, and aggression behind that attack. So my attacker typically is gonna do a sewing machine and I'm trying to catch that. It's very difficult to do. Sure, it is a sound theory to control the weapon before you disarm, control that weapon before you retaliate. But reaching out and grabbing the hand to control that weapon is not the solution.
Let me show you a technique of stepping offline to gain control over your opponent. Let's go ahead and cover this step by step. As your opponent strikes, you're stepping offline, inside parry. You're reaching your other hand up into his front and your other hand around the back. Notice you're guarding his arm here. If he tries to retract or pull away, you've got a good hold of him. From there, you're going to step out, swinging your opponent down, and taking him to the ground. As your opponent strikes, you're stepping offline, inside parry. You're reaching your other hand up into his front and your other hand around the back. Notice you're guarding his arm here. If he tries to retract or pull away, you've got a good hold of him. From there, you're going to step out, swinging your opponent down and taking him to the ground.
Thanks for watching our video lessons here at TRS Direct. Hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to our channel here on YouTube. Hit the bell icon and we'll send you a notification when there's a new lesson available. Thanks again for watching.